Hi there, dear friends. This is Bob Hatton. This is The Encourager. And I want to start to talk to you about the big plan, the big picture that God has given us. We've been looking at some themes over the past few months and going in depth, I think, into some of the themes. But I just want to have a look at this big picture that God has given us in the Bible. And it's quite easy to miss this big picture because we're always looking at the little details. And it's easy to miss this because so many other people are telling us what to think in these days. And some people are listening to these people and they're going up the ladder one rung after another, climbing always getting higher and higher and higher. And in the end of their life, they find out, yeah, we climbed to the top of the ladder, but the ladder's leaning against the wrong wall. Now, we are being flooded with information in these days. We live in the age of information, and IT, information technology, is one of the leading technologies in our day. Everybody is collecting information, and we are being flooded with information. The University of California, they found out as far back as the year 2010, they found out that we get so much information every day that every day we could fill more than 170 newspapers. So much information are we receiving. Now the Bible, you know, that's like Tolstoy's War and Peace. I've seen the film, I've never read the book, but maybe some of you have this book on your shelf, War and Peace, and you keep thinking someday I've got to read that book. Tolstoy, he was a famous Russian author. I've got to read his book, but then we put off because it's so thick, and somehow we maybe never get round to reading it. And of course the Bible is a little bit like that. It is a big, thick book, and I've said it many times, it's actually 66 different books, and there's more than 1,100 chapters. It really is a big book to read. Sometimes people ask me and say, do you believe that every word of the Bible has been inspired by God? And I must say, you know, this is a really strange question, because individual words don't have any meaning. You know, how can you believe in individual words? But we put words together to make sentences, and the sentences, they form kind of concepts, and that we can understand these concepts and we can believe them if we think fit. Now, the Bible was actually written in three different languages. The Old Testament was mostly written in the Hebrew language. However, the book of Daniel was written in Chaldaic, and also I think a chapter in the book of Ezra was written in Chaldaic, and I believe also one sentence in the book of Jeremiah was written in Chaldaic. Otherwise, it's all in Hebrew, and the New Testament was written in Greek. Now, the youngest book in the New Testament, in the youngest part of the Bible, is nearly 2,000 years old. And the languages that were spoken in those days, they're not spoken anymore. We talk about Old Greek and we're talking about Old Hebrew. I mean, David, the king, he wrote some of the Old Testament, and he lived for 3,000 years ago. So what we've got to do, we've got to take these old languages, and somebody's got to learn them, and we've got to translate that into modern English so that we can understand it. And of course, in the other languages, I'm living in a German-speaking country, so we have the Bible in the German language. And then one of the most famous editions of the Bible is what we call the King James Version. And the King James Version was one of the very first Bibles that was translated into English, and that was translated in the year 1611. And if we go back these 400 years, or yes, maybe 500 years, if we go back to all that far, then we find out that the people spoke English. The English, you can understand it, but you can also misunderstand it because the meaning of words has changed, and they spoke a little bit funny. And it's funny to listen to, and it's difficult to read. So we keep having revised editions published, and sometimes new editions come out. But besides having to, we have to translate these old languages into a new language, and we got to understand, because what are we actually reading? There's a lot of poetry in the Bible, and there's a lot of figures of speech in this poetry. And also Jesus, he also spoke with pictures. He once said, "Why are you looking at the speck of dust in your brother's eye, and you're not seeing the plank that's in your eye?" And this is of course a picture. He's not talking literally, but we got to decide, what am I reading now? Is it something that's literal, or is it something that's pictorial? And what we have this word, this specialist word that we use, and it's called exegesis, and that means we're asking the question, what does the Bible actually say? And then we have another word called hermeneutic, and hermeneutic means what does the Bible mean? What does it say and what does it mean? And we keep studying the Bible to try and find out this. We had the Bible wasn't written in an old language many years ago, but the culture then was also different. What does that mean for us today? And the things that the people would take for normal are completely strange to us today. And then in the English language, we have a number of different Bible translations. And for instance, I think probably one of the best translations is a Bible called the New American Standard Version. And the people who translate that have tried to get the best translation that is so accurate according to what we have in the original languages. The only problem with it is it's a little bit difficult to read. That's what I find anyway. There are other Bibles. There's, for instance, the Good News Bible, which used to be quite popular anyway. I'm not quite up to date about in the English spectre. But this was a Bible that was very easy to read, but it wasn't quite accurate according to the translation. Now, there's two Bibles that I use today. One is called the New International Version, which is quite good. I like it. It flows, but it does have a few translation mistakes. So just at the moment, I've just switched to a Bible called the English Standard Version, and I'm trying to get in this. This is not quite as good as the New American Standard Version, but it's a bit better than the New International Version, and so I'm trying to get into that. But what you need to do, you need to find the Bible that suits you best, so that it doesn't stay on the shelf next to Tolstoy's War and Peace. And we're going to start this journey, and we're going to see what the Bible says and have a look at the big plan, what God has got for us, and the big picture that he's painted for us. So God bless you. I'm looking forward to starting this thing with you tomorrow. All the best. God blessing. You're Bob Hatton, your encourager.